it's interesting that I've noticed this in relationships post divorce, is that they will tell you at some point what they're going to do before
Mm.
they do it. And in my case, my ex did exactly that. It was probably several years before the divorce. And she kept on egging me on to go down to this next town, Santa Barbara, where it's just gorgeous and it costs, buy-in is 10 million bucks or something for these beautiful houses overlooking the ocean.
What do you mean going down? You mean like selling the place you guys were in to move down there?
Just go start looking. Yeah, she's hinting at wanting to go down there. Well, that was beyond my pay grade. And I knew, I grew up in California. I know exactly what that place was. And she was all excited about it. And I was like, hey, man, we already live in a multi-million dollar house and we did just fine. Nah, she was very excited about this.
Was this like
I
going
just,
from like a 7-figure home to an 8-figure home?
well, okay. So if you
Like a
look
$3
up, I
million
gave you the
home to
address
like a
last
$13
time.
million home sort of thing?
Yeah. Going from a $3 million house to a 13. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Something like that. You could go all over but that's kind of the area. And so, I knew what it was like down there and I kind of just blew it off. And then I didn't think about it much anymore. Well, today she shacked up with some dude. He's got a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And she married him and she has her beautiful house overlooking the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to kiss and tell too much, but I heard it through the grapevine that she had to compromise a lot of stuff in order to get that. And I haven't spoken to her, but the bottom line is I was really happy when I heard this because I was like, well, that's exactly what she wanted. It wasn't like I did anything horrible or wrong or, it's the ultimate in hypergamy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that to the nth degree. And all right. So, but you start questioning yourself a lot when that happens, because when I was going through it, because that didn't happen for 5 or 6 years after. It wasn't like she had this relationship waiting, and I didn't have one waiting either. So, but then when I look back at it, I said, yeah, that's right. She said that. She said that's what she was going to do. She actually told me. And then I look at other relationships I've had since. And when I really, I've been single now for 10 years or maybe 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a handful of relationships, some for 6 months, some for a couple of years. And when, you always get into something and you go, oh, well, you think this and you hear what they say, but you just ignore the parts that you don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And, but then when it ends and you go, oh yeah, they said that in the beginning, they really meant it. So that's what happened with her. So she already knew. So I would warn people if they're in the same situation to be very aware, because maybe you can deal with it somehow. I don't know. Or
Yeah,
maybe at
most
least you
people
can prepare.
don't pay attention to red flags. Like you could literally grab a red flag and wave it like this, and it's like, "Yo, here's a red flag," and they'll be like, "She's got great boobs, and she's she looks pretty and smells nice," and they don't do anything else, right?
Or in my case, you just, you're rolling along and you're comfortable, and there's really not much I could have done about it,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. It's
Yeah.
without leveraging like hell, which I kind of did that anyway. And you leverage, and then if it works out great, then maybe you could buy the next thing they want. Maybe it's a better car, or maybe it's a better house, or maybe it's better, whatever it is that they want. They want something, right?
How old were the kids when you guys split up?
Okay, so when we split, my youngest, he was 14, and then my middle one was 16, and my oldest was 18. And the 18, and the funny thing was, I had the best relationship ever with my middle daughter up till that point. I mean, she was just daddy's girl, and we do everything together. I'd fly her around to her. She was an aspiring actress, and she could sing, and so
Mm-hmm.
she'd go for commercial auditions in LA, and so I'd fly her down there. We'd spend the day together, and she would confide in me things that little girls would. It's like, oh, my friends are weird, and how come my boys never kissed me, and what should I say to a guy if he says this, and
Mm-hmm.
things that a girl would ask her dad. And I was flattered, and I'd laugh with her and get a hamburger and a shake, and we had that,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nice. The day the divorce was announced, she never talked to me. again.
Ever again?
Well, it took about 5 years.
So why did she stop talking to you the day of the divorce?
She wouldn't say. She still to this day hasn't said. But my actually, I don't want to say too much because there's some privacy, but there was some help elsewhere to kind of close that gap. And what's happened is now we talk regularly, and she's well into her career. She's got a big job in Washington, D.C., of all things, and she's doing some really great things, and she's proud of herself, and I'm proud of her. And we did get together for dinner, and so slowly it's mending. But to broach that subject, hardcore, it's like you have to, it's like any relationship. You don't want to just blast it open and say, "Why did you do this?"
Did you ever ask her siblings to see what they thought of it?
Yeah, her brother, and he doesn't want to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And my son, he never stopped talking to me from the very beginning. But my ex was very, very clever in keeping us separated. So I think I said this last time. They play little games like, oh, he has a baseball game on Thursday, so I would show up on Thursday. Well, it turned out the game was on Wednesday. And okay,
so giving you the complete wrong date, so you show up like a pleb.
Yeah, so those kinds of things constantly of just being harassed by misinformation, and then you look like an ass, and so I picked up on that.
And then he's playing the game, like looking in the stands, going, "Where's Dad?" Right, and you're not
or
there.
I show, and then she knows I'm coming down, and now I've got that one down. Where I'm not going to be there the wrong day. Well, of course it's. Why wouldn't I go? I've driven a long way. Why wouldn't I want to have dinner with him? Well, of course, she has dates set up for him. Oh, no. He only has 10 minutes. And even if I ask, there's some massive thing. She is the master of control. And he, didn't want to get, he's got 2 sisters and a mom to deal with at home. And he doesn't want to make his life uncomfortable.
What about the other girl? Did she
the oldest
talk
one
to you guys when you split up?
She
or did she also
was
go cold on you?
told. Okay, so this is all the disinformation stuff that's going on. It's like my ex.
This, by the way, guys, is called parental alienation in family law. It's where one parent tries to put distance between the other parent by making up a false narrative that would encourage the child not to want to have a relationship with that parent. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So it's and I knew this during the court battle that this was going on, and I knew my remedies were to fight this parental alienation. You're gonna have to do psychological analysis on that on her. Then she would require one of me, and then we'd have to do it to the kids, and then back and forth. And you're going to spend probably $50,000-$60,000 going through this crap. And the 18-year-old was out of the picture because she's 18. And the judge said, okay, well, mom can take care of the kids, but Dad, I'm going to leave it up to the kids if they want to see you. So I wasn't told I couldn't see them, and they weren't told they couldn't see me, but the judge just said, they're 14 and 16. I'm going to let them make their own decision. And so, but the things that were going on, which I knew, or I assumed a lot of times by her, because the kids didn't even want to say, because I knew she was masterful at this, I would have to go back and prove it. And it would just cause such a discourse in their lives. I didn't want to rattle their lives that much. And I knew sooner or later they'd come back. My son's turned out great. And my daughter's turned out great too. And I will give one, she got all of my money, but to her benefit, she spent it on the kids the way I would have wanted them to, wanted her to. So she made sure they got through schools. She made sure they, got opportunities in their lives to get to the next step, et cetera. My son started a business and so on. So, but I was thinking about this today, in fact, is like, how do you stop that from happening the next generation again? An extreme amount of education is what it's going to take. And I don't think they're aware of it yet until they get older. But this is exactly what my ex-wife did at that time, is she blew apart our uh, relationship at exactly the time her parents split when she was that age, and her siblings were the same age as all three of my kids. She was one of three. And so it's like you recreate this nightmare in your head and you think it's going to happen again, and then you end up creating it.
Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.